Alright guys, this is part 2, starting right up on 16. We're dealing with a rhombus here, and rhombuses are special in the fact that their diagonals bisect. So we get 7 here, and then we get this whole thing is 18, so that's actually going to be 9 and 9, and this will also be 7. We're looking for OH. We have a 90 degree. Now this is throwing it back a little bit, but the 90 degree right here basically is saying we have a right triangle. Okay, so our right triangle kind of looks like this, where we have 9, 7, 90 degree, and x. That's what we're looking for, OH. So we're going to have to use actually Pythagorean's theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, which you probably haven't heard since 8th or 7th grade. What we do here is we plug in 9 and 7 for a or b, doesn't matter which one. And we get 81 plus 49 equals c squared. Okay, combine those and we get 130 equals c squared. Then we take the square root of both sides, and c equals approximately 11.4. We get rock as a square. So RK and OC are actually congruent to each other. So for number 17, we just go ahead and take 14x minus 37 equals 12x minus 25. We'll go ahead and move the smaller x over. Add 37. The difference there is 12, and so x is going to equal 6. Actually, x, that really helps us, but then it asks us to find the area, which we really don't do that much. We usually find perimeter. But to find the area, you just do side times side. A lot of students will want to say, well, 6 times 6 is 36. Well, x is not the side length. So we actually have to plug x back into one of the original lengths. So 12 times 6 minus 25, that's going to give us 72 minus 25. So we get 47. So the side length is 47. And to find the area of a square, it is side squared. So we're just going to do 47 times 47. And the area is 2,209 is the area that we should compute. Number 18, this is a basic median problem where we don't know KH, but I do know the bases, so I'm going to take the sum of them, 28 and 36. Add those two together, I get 64. Half of 64 is 32. And that's what KH equals. That's a basic median problem. Nice and simple. Simba. 19. Hiya. Number 19, we're going to get a trapezoid. That's isosceles. And we get 11x minus plus 1, down here, and we get 20x minus 62. So we got to set those two equal to each other. Okay, and so we'll move the 11x over. That's a plus 1, right? Keep doing that wrong. So I get 63 equals 9x, so x is going to equal 7. So it asked me for 7. Then it asked me to find r and a. Well, I got to plug 7 back in here. If I plug 7 in here, that's 77 plus 1, so I get 78 degrees right here. And these two are going to be supplementary. So this angle, this angle and this angle are supplementary. So 78 would be 102, and then these are base angles, so they're congruent. So we get R is equal to 102, and A is equal to 102. All right. Okay, this last one is fun. Okay, we get AL, P, T, Z, R. AL is going to be x plus 19. This is going to be 3y minus 16. This one's going to be y plus 23. And this is going to be 2x plus 18. This is a system yet again. Okay? And so let's go ahead and set this system up. I'm going to do it on the next page. So this equals this, and these two equal this. Here comes the system. Okay? So we get x plus 19 equals 3y minus 16. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to actually solve this for x right off the bat. X is going to equal 3y. Add those two together because they're both negative. Leave it negative, and we get negative 35. Okay, so this is one of the equations I'm going to work with. The other equation I have is 2x plus 18 equals y plus 23. And what I'm going to do is I'm essentially going to say this here is going to go in for that right there. Okay, so we're going to get 2 times x, and in this case x is going to equal 3y minus 35. Distribute, we get 6y minus 70 plus 18 equals y plus 23. Negative 70 and 18 is going to give us a negative 52. Subtract the y over. 5y minus 52 equals 23. Add 52. 75 equals 5y. Y equals 15. Once I have that, I can plug it into my other equation. And I'm actually going to plug it into this one that's set equal to x already because it makes it simple. That's going to be 45 minus 35. I'm going to get x equals 10. Alright, those are the answers to the questions. Let's go over the last set. Okay, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. Here we go. Okay. An isosceles trapezoid has congruent diagonals. That's going to be always. Consecutive angles of a parallelogram are complementary. That's going to be never. They would be supplementary. A rectangle has congruent diagonals. That's going to be always. I am doing these out of order. Dang it. Poop. Okay. 21 was right. 22, I read the wrong problem. Okay. 22 is the angle measures of a rhombus have a sum equal to 360. Yes, all equilaterals have a sum of measures equal to 360, so that's always true. 23, we did that one, and that was never true. Okay, consecutive angles of a parallelogram are not complementary, they're supplementary. 24, a rhombus has all right angles. That's going to never be true. Okay. A triangle has congruent diagonals, or sorry, number 25. A rectangle has congruent diagonals. Number 25, that's always true. 26, consecutive angles of a parallelogram are congruent. That is never true. 27, a trapezoid has congruent base angles. Okay. That is never true. 28. A trapezoid has the same pair of opposite sides parallel and congruent. And that's going to be never true. 29. A rhombus is a parallelogram. Always true. And 30. A rectangle is a square. Never true. Okay. You're asking yourself, how come we never use sometimes? The reason why is you could, but you have to read the problem a little differently. For example, I'll tell you which ones could have been read differently and be used with sometimes. If we read for number 20, I believe it's 24, a rhombus has all right angles. If you said that rhombus was a square, then number 24 could be sometimes. If you read number 26, consecutive angles of a parallelogram are congruent, if you're talking about a rectangle, that would be sometimes. Okay. Either way on the test, I'd give both correct, however the way you're reading it. So I'm letting you know there's kind of some different ways you could read it. 27, a trapezoid has congruent bases. That's false. Unless that trapezoid was an isosceles, so then maybe sometimes. 28, that's just never true. 29, always, and 30, a rectangle is a square. That could be true if the rectangle happened to be a square. So kind of confusing, but I would give either answer correct. Alright, that's it. Make sure you study, know your theorems, know your properties, know everything.